Tom Landry's greatest Cowboy team ever took the field last weekend. Unfortunately, this unit consisted entirely of retired players being honored during Dallas's silver anniversary celebration. This year's Cowboys joined the festivities by taking a 7-6 halftime lead over the New York Giants. But after number 80, Tony Hill's touchdown, a wave of nostalgia overcame the Cowboy faithful as New York defenders like number 70, Leonard Marshall, made folks long for the days when Dallas linemen could block. And there was a quarterback known as Roger the Dodger. The Giants registered 5 sacks, and Phil Simms also tarnished this silver anniversary party with a touchdown pass to Lionel Manuel, number 86. Dallas's 19-7 defeat served as a reminder that while the Cowboys' first 25 years were full of glorious memories, their 26th season is shaping up as a highly forgettable campaign indeed. The New York Jets are also looking back on a quarter century of pro football, but they spent a large part of last Sunday looking out for the Miami Dolphins defense. Pat Ryan was dumped 5 times in a contest that saw Miami jump to a quick lead when Dan Marino and Nat Moore, number 89, teamed up for a 37-yard touchdown. Throughout 1984, Marino's initial aerial barrage has brought opponents to their knees, but the Jets remained on their toes, and the Dolphins suddenly found themselves with a fight on their hands. This was the second consecutive game the number 24, Freeman McNeil, produced a 50 yards plus run from scrimmage. And the Jets followed it up with the only first-period touchdown registered against the Dolphins in 1984. After number 85, Wesley Walker, even matters at 7 apiece, the New York defense took charge, intercepting Marino twice and recording a pair of sacks. The Jets' ability to scratch and claw kept them in this tooth-and-nail contest. And with less than 10 minutes remaining to play, McNeil provided them with a 17-14 advantage. The scrappy Jets brought a childlike enthusiasm to this very grown-up game of football. And on one occasion, they even appeared to be playing spin the bottle. Nat Moore was the bottle. But this bottle didn't break, and neither did the Dolphins. Marino overcame a shaky first half to finish with 422 passing yards, 47 of them on a fourth-period bomb to Mark Clayton, number 83. The Dolphins' 31-17 victory didn't come easy. They threw everything they had at the Jets, and the Jets threw everything they had right back at the Dolphins. When the throwing was over, Miami's record stood at an immaculate 10-0. Like the latest developments in microtechnology, San Francisco football has increased in scope. But against the fired-up Cincinnati Bengals at Candlestick Park, the 49ers played the kind of defense that belonged on a 3-inch screen. Tentative tackling made number 40 Charles Alexander look like an all-pro, and the Bengals ran San Francisco ragged during a first half in which they posted a 17-7 lead. Joe Montana's career-high 4 interceptions also presented the hometown fans with a distorted vision of their team's abilities. But eventually Montana and Dwight Clark, number 87, brought things into sharper focus. Clark's 39-yard catch and carry gave Montana the opportunity to take off the goat's horns and put on the hero outfit that he's more accustomed to wearing. He proved that it still fit perfectly with a perfect throw to Freddie Solomon, number 88. The 49ers' 23-17 victory improved their NFC best record to 9-1. But if they can't stay turned on throughout the remainder of a light schedule, some lowly opponent is liable to tune them out of the win column. In a steady downpour at Three Rivers Stadium, Steeler quarterback Mark Malone stood poised to write another sorry chapter in the 1984 edition of the winless Houston Oilers. Co-authoring the Pittsburgh assault was number 82, John Stallworth, who was on the receiving end of 3 Malone touchdown passes. After an injury-plagued 1983, Stallworth has ignored the skeptics' cry that he is too old for the game. At 32 years of age, he hardly qualifies for senior citizen status. And on Sunday, he was in his prime when he tied Lynn Swann for the Steeler lead in career touchdown passes with 51. It was the first 3-touchdown day of Stallworth's career and gave him 5 scores in the last 2 weeks. The Pittsburgh defense went on the offensive with their 6th touchdown of the season when Brian Hinkle, number 53, scored on a fumble return to help deal the Oilers a record 23rd consecutive road defeat, 35-7. The Indianapolis Colts are ranked dead last in the NFL in total offense, but threatened to relinquish that dubious distinction when Mark Herman teamed with Raymond Butler on a 74-yard scoring play. But it was the Colts' lone touchdown of the day as they fell victim to Charlie Joyner and the San Diego Chargers. 5 years older than the Steelers' Stallworth, Joyner moved into second place on the all-time list for both receptions and receiving yardage, with 9 catches for 119 yards. And his touchdown provided San Diego with some insurance points in the 38-10 Charger win. Winning is something the Minnesota Vikings had failed to do in 5 weeks, and it appeared that Tampa Bay would extend that streak when James Wilder blew in for his first of 2 first-half touchdowns. But the Vikings made it a contest behind the blocking of Curtis Rouse, number 68, and the running of Darren Nelson, number 20. Starting his first game of the year, Minnesota quarterback Wade Wilson connected with Ted Brown, number 23, as the 2 teams played dead even down to the wire. With the game tied at 24 and with 2 ticks left on the clock, the Vikings' ageless wonder kicker Jan Stenerud lined one up from 53 yards out. The oldest player in the NFL, Stenerud provided the margin in the Vikings' 27-24 victory that marked the first time in 4 years that the Vikings had come from behind to win. Two teams struggling to reach the 500 mark met in Detroit, where the Lions' Ken Jenkins, cut by Philadelphia a year ago, cut through the Eagle defense for 281 all-purpose yards. This was the key play in the Lions' first scoring drive, climaxed by a Gary Danielson to James Jones touchdown pass. In the second period, the same 2 men reversed roles on a flea flicker when Jones lofted an air ball that floated into the hands of Danielson for the score that earned the Lions a 17-6 halftime lead. After intermission, the Eagles struck back through the air when Ron Jaworski hit Mike Quick with a 68-yard touchdown that helped Philadelphia tie the game in regulation time. On their first possession in overtime, Detroit drove to the Eagle 4-yard line, where Eddie Murray leaned in to kick the game-winning field goal from extra point range. For the 5th time this season, Murray hit the right goal post and missed, very likely a league record for futility. The Lion Band had begun to play a victory march, but for Murray and the Lions, the tune was poorly composed and ended in a final flat note, a 23-23 tie. Basking in the sunlight of Bush Memorial Stadium, Ram running back Eric Dickerson warmed to a point too sizzling for even the red-hot St. Louis Cardinals to handle. Dickerson scorched the Cardinal defense for an NFL season-high 208 yards, his best day as a pro, to become the league's leading ground gainer. Although Dickerson revved the Rams' offensive engines, quarterback Jeff Kemp encountered some technical difficulties. But it was the Cardinals who really stalled in attempting to check All-Pro defensive end Jack Youngblood, number 85, by sending guard Terry Steve, number 68, to block him from the opposite side. The Cardinals' blocking schemes were as ineffective as their special teams play. When the Cardinal improvisation backfired, they confidently turned to their patented and proven pass play. Connecting with streaking Roy Green was the only bright spot of the day for Neil Lomax, who was sacked 6 times, fumbled twice, and had 2 passes stolen by Ram defenders. The air was definitely a danger zone, as even Jeff Kemp completed only 5 passes on the day. But this 52-yard strike to wide receiver Ron Brown arrived safely and right on target to open up a Rams scoring spurt of 13 unanswered points. In posting a 16-13 victory, the Rams refused to bow to one of the NFC's hottest teams and snapped the Cardinals' winning streak at 4 games. The Green Bay Packers, on the other hand, were looking for back-to-back victories for the first time all year as they faced New Orleans. While running back Wayne Wilson, number 30, may be third on the depth charts, he became the designated rusher for the Saints. Wilson averaged 10 yards a carry and literally stomped on any obstacle which stood between himself and the end zone. But it was Packer tight end Paul Kaufman, number 82, who walked all over the Saints' top-ranked pass defense with 2 touchdowns, including this 33-yarder. Kaufman's balancing act tipped the scales in Green Bay's favor as the Packers' 23-13 victory marked their 6th straight win against New Orleans. While the Packers were downing the Saints, the Browns and Bills were trying to keep from drowning in Buffalo, where Mother Nature expressed her wrath at the matchup of 2 teams with but 1 win between them. Bills' hopes for their first win of the season were slip-sliding away, especially when Cleveland linebacker Clay Matthews, number 57, took matters into his own hands. While Cleveland's number 2 ranked defense remained true to its fierce form, their offensive line continued to be as porous as ever. Number 52, Chris Keating's 34-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown looked like a one-in-a-season play, but not in the game that deserved the tag Battle of the Bounce. Butterfingered Browns, led by rookie Ernest Biner, number 44, remained afloat by squeaking out this comedy of errors for a 13-10 win over the waterlogged Bills. While winless Buffalo coach Kay Stevenson has been showered with nothing but bad luck this year, Marty Schottenheimer chalked up his first victory in his 2nd week as head coach and hopes to precipitate some winning ways for his Browns. The Chicago Bears are on top in the NFC Central Division largely due to the efforts of this man, running back Walter Payton. But last weekend, before Payton played a significant part in the game against Los Angeles, the Bear defense first went out and laid down a few ground rules. The Raiders have long been the intimidator and not the intimidatee. However, on this particular Sunday, the Silver and Black finally met their match. The new monsters of the Midway turned Los Angeles' pride and poise into pain and suffering. Chicago recorded 9 sacks, with number 95, Richard Dent, in on 5 of them. While the Bears' number 1 ranked defense held the Raiders to only 2 field goals, their number 1 ranked ground game rushed for nearly 200 yards, 111 credited to Payton. Not only were the steel-jawed, blood-and-guts Raiders out-muscled, but to add insult to injury, they were outscored by a player affectionately known as Sweetness. The sure-footed halfback scored twice in Chicago's 17-6 win over Los Angeles. While the first-place Bears were securing their 3rd consecutive victory, there were 2 big winning streaks on the line in Denver. Bronco head coach Dan Reeves, on your left, was looking for his 8th straight, and newly appointed Patriot head coach Raymond Berry, on your right, was going for 2 in a row. With the score tied at 6 in the 3rd quarter, quarterback Tony Eason turned the tide in Coach Berry's favor. Clarence Weathers' touchdown reception dampened the Broncos' spirits. However, John Elway quickly hung them out to dry with a clothesline pass to Butch Johnson. While the touchdown prompted Johnson to moonwalk through the end zone, a 13-12 New England lead prompted Rulon Jones, number 75, to moonstomp through the Patriots' offense. The Broncos were outplayed most of the day, but not only did their defense keep it close, they pulled the game out of the fire in the final minutes by burning the New England offense. Dennis Smith, number 49, raced 64 yards with a Patriot fumble to give the Broncos a 26-19 win. With 9 wins and only 1 loss on the season, Denver remains in sole possession of first place in the AFC West. But despite their record, the Broncos can't let their heels cool because the Seattle Seahawks are hot on their trail. Last Sunday, the Seahawks once again bent over backwards to prove they can win without injured running back Kurt Warner. Without Warner, opposing defenses know Seattle has to put the ball in the air more frequently. However, a resourceful Dave Craig has kept some element of surprise in the Seahawk offense. Craig's push-pass touchdown to Mike Tice, number 86, proved unconventional methods are often successful. Unfortunately for the Chiefs, their quarterback stuck with conventional methods. Number 42, Keith Simpson's interception was one of a record 4 the Seahawks returned for touchdowns. Seattle literally stole the game from Kansas City, and leading this larcenous lot was Dave Brown, number 22. Brown returned interceptions of 95 and 58 yards for touchdowns. In total, the Seahawk defense picked off 6 passes for a record 330 yards, scored 4 touchdowns, and shut out the Chiefs in a 45-0 win. With an impressive 8-2 record, Seattle fans must be thinking that with a healthy Warner, there might be 2 undefeated teams in the NFL.